1, 2, 3. Pachoo! Hello, I'm Joan Rivers, and this is my daughter Melissa, and you are watching 15 minutes of FUME! Alright, well, gosh, already I'm feeling a little loosey-goosey over here. It is Friday.
Melissa Rivers?
Some call it good. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Showbiz royalty. Look, I have been reading Enter Talking by Joan Rivers. It's a great book. It's been on my mind a lot. Humor me in a droll introduction. We are trying to wrap up our Lupercalia 2021 fragrance reviews. It's gotten tough. We've been recording a lot of videos over the past couple of weeks.
Running up that hill.
We are rolling down that hill and then running up that hill and then rolling down the hill. It's a Sisyphean task that does technically end, but there will always be more perfumes. We still have lunacy stuff to review. We've got just so much. On the bright side, we are missing a couple of the Luper GC perfumes still. We don't got SMUT, and we don't got that last one, We Must Love Each Other or Die, something like that.
Sounds threatening.
But we have 5 here from the back half of the Luper GC collection, and a shorter fragrance video should, be helpful in terms of keeping Galen from having another attack of the,
sensory overload.
Yeah.
I was incensed.
I don't like to see you that way. It could happen to anyone. I mean, to be honest.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened on video before, where I've just been like, wow, I have too much on me and I feel kind of ill. Like I am amongst the vapors.
We normally don't review 15 perfumes in a shot. No one probably should, especially if you're putting them on your body. Like, it all starts to become like this kind of potpourri.
I had, and then the peach vulva and the raucous games inside a bathhouse or something. There were 2, it was like a peach and then the plum.
Yeah.
And so I was really amping both of them, and it was like hot fruit city. I couldn't.
Hot fruit city.
I feel like I am in a weird summer drought and I need water and shelter. Please help me.
All of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs are suddenly necessary. What's funny about that is the perfume that we're starting with today is called Since There's No Help. I wonder what was on the perfumer's mind when this was included in this year's batch of scents, It's accompanied by a lovely poem by Michael Drayton, which, as you, the repeating viewer, knows, I won't read. I actually, can't do all of this all the time.
Like, you can read.
I
actually can't.
I can read.
I choose not to.
But I think it's important to be selective about what to read, when to read, and yes, even how to read.
Can't read it all.
So you, dear viewer, may also go and have a poetry experience of your very own. Like, poetry is intimate, and yes, sometimes it's fun to have people kind of shout poetry at you in that poetry voice that everyone does on their Twitter videos. But poetry is an intimate experience between the author of a poem and your eyeballs or fingers or ears or whatever you're reading the poem with. It's personal. So go read this poem by Michael Drayton if you want. But the perfume,
there we go.
Since there's no help, I always come back around.
I'm feeling like there's no help. I'm just like, wait, you're just talking about poems.
Yeah, I mean,
how to read them.
Poems are an essential part of, BPAL.
Well, we know, but what about the perfume? Enough about the poems.
As the person who has to edit this video, Galen is got your eye on the target.
Producer says, wrap it up.
It's off screen on the, you're just seeing. I've waited my entire life to end up in a showbiz situation where I actually get cues like that.
Remember when Julia Roberts won Best Actress and then they were cueing her off the thing and she's like, no, you have got to let me talk.
Yeah.
It's like that.
And turn that clock off, it's making me nervous.
Well,
you can't silence Tom.
I'm no Julia Roberts, although my My feet are the length of my forearm from elbow to wrist, if that, you know. But I think that's kind of the whole point, was that was a universal thing anyway, the scent notes for since there's no
I think
help.
we derailed the train.
There is no help.
There's no help.
Please help. The scent is a cold scent, a severing, silver frosted white musk, juniper, and cade. Which
There's
we
that
just
cade again.
discussed.
Cade is a juniperian
A
variant.
woody juniperian. I'm surprised you remember anything from the last video. With bitter carrot seed and lemon peel, davana, and white tea. Now, what I find interesting about this is a very romantic and sexual collection of perfumes, but there is something in here that represents the sort of like end of like the other part of the life cycle of a love, and it's, you know, it's a real downer. I mean, after Bright Red Dildo, and then you get to Since There's No Help. I like putting those in the opposite order, though, so where it's like, since there's no help, Bright Red Dildo. You gotta help yourself. Anyway, the perfume, this is actually gorgeous. It's cold, for sure.
Yeah.
It's weirdly not really like the snowbank pile of snow perfumes that we do. It is just kind of cold and silvery. I wouldn't call it like wintry though.
No. Just like maybe like a cold wind.
A cold, you know,
Sort
it's
of,
like
or like your window panes are frosted kind of thing.
it's like a
That's what
cold
I'm
spring
getting.
morning. The juniper and I think the lemon is part of what kind of like warms it up a little bit. It has its comfort. It's kind of an interesting like cold comfort, you know, like there are soothing elements to it, but the sadness is still there. I find that to be like a really interesting poetic expression of a heartbreak in scent, you know? I've definitely felt this feeling as smelling it as a scent. And it's something, the white musk is really gorgeous also. It's just I can see this being like it's like beautiful, but there's like a leave me alone quality to it, which I really appreciate. Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, it really just has a kind of, there's a romantic longing to this. Something about the lemon with the carrot seed, it just kind of takes a pretty commonly, you know, sad scent, but then kind of like holds it up to the light. I don't know. Well, it reminds me a little bit of like To a Wreath of Snow from Yule, just in terms of that same kind of like, there's a kind of a weird heartache to it, just like a, you know?
Yeah.
There have been a nice assortment of tea scents in the Lupercalias that we've smelled so far. I mean, I guess that's to be expected from the Shungas, but there's like overall lately been a nice assortment of teas. Sorry to be such a tease. Plural. Well, anything? Do you have anything to say other than yeah?
I think yeah. I think that people who like the Evening with the Spirits line that we have released around the winter time would like this, because it is kind of similar crossover notes, like the white tea, the white musk, the carrot seed. It's sort of sad and spectral,
Completely
but like
accurate.
Yeah, but weirdly hopeful. There's like a glimmer of hope. Maybe that's that lemon peel.
It has a kind of a bright shine on it,
There's
which
yeah.
is a lovely detail to include, because it would be so easy to not. And I think a lot of those Evening with the Spirit ones also kind of like really get into that, you know, sad, hopeless place. They have a bit of a shine to them because they're spectral, but like that's a really, really good comparison.
Yeah.
Well, now what we don't have is the classic SMUT. We don't have this year's SMUT. Maybe later, if we get our hands on it, we can do like a little follow-up vid. That's just about SMUT. SMUT is it's like 3 musks sweetened with sugar and woozy with dark booze notes. A sugary, boozy collection of musks. So that's like a Lupercalia stalwart. I think we release it every year. Maybe we've skipped some years. I'm not really sure at this point. My brains are mush because there's no help. But we did do this year, as a special treat, snake smut. At this point, the snake oil variant is as much a BPAL tradition as the original snake oil itself. Snake oil is our BPAL classic. It's our perfumer's signature blend. It's a vegetal musks with vanilla and incense notes. There's some patchouli in there. It's just like a really sensuous, kind of
resiny,
dark, and yet
resinous.
the vanilla is just really intoxicating. So that's what snake oil is.
Yeah.
Snake smut, we've never smelled before.
Well,
so
that's not true. I have smelled it.
Well, that's a bold admission.
I'm silent.
No. You
can hear
bottled
a
it,
pin
right?
drop. You bottled it, but I've worn it since you
I
brought
bottled
it home.
When you bottle this many perfumes, you just lose track
You're
after
blind.
a while. It's true. Sometimes I get to it and I'm like, I can barely smell it. I'm covered in oil.
It doesn't even. Sometimes, like while we're reviewing them, I'm like, oh, I bottled this one. Like I have
Right.
I have memory gaps.
They just go right down into the memory hole. So in the
Okay, this smells
bottle.
even better since the time that I tried it on.
It's
Which
had
was
time
like
to rest.
5 days ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've smelled snake oil for so many years that every time I smell it, it feels a little bit like coming home. It just reminds me of those, like, you know, it kind of like helps you see how long you've been like enjoying a particular scent. I have like, it's not even my perfume, but I have nostalgia for it. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Like, it's just a classic.
Yeah.
And then, and it's very present in the bottle on this. Like, I'm definitely getting the vanilla and the snaky snake oil
Wait,
musks.
did we say what snake smut was?
Snake smut says, oh, snake oil and smut with leather accord, cardamom, and 7-year age patchouli. I forgot there was more in it than just snake oil and smut. And in fact, the leather really puts it in a territory with another classic Luper variant, which is snake skin, which is a leathery snake oil. I mean, I can smell it, and it's not as leathery as snake skin, but this is just I don't smell the cardamom, but I mean, there's so much going on in here between the musks and the booze and everything. Like, a little spice is just not going to be that trackable. Let's put some on. The booziness really changes it. And there's something kind of like a dry, acrid quality, which I think is
Maybe
likely from the leather.
Oh.
I mean,
maybe both?
It does have more patchouli, but I honestly feel like it's almost like they've just dialed up the patchouli in accordance with the increase of other notes. There's something like dry and crackly about it, though, that is, I think, leather and patchouli.
Yeah.
It's really gorgeous. This is kind of what, to be honest, that I wish snakeskin smelled like when I wear that.
Well, now you have this, so you can wear this instead.
I can't believe this has been sitting here on a table for like a week and I haven't smelled it. Like, what was I thinking? I was thinking save it for the video. It's so borders on edible. Like, it's almost gourmand in a way that just makes me want to start just like hoovering it up off my skin with my mouth. I won't. And then also because like there's something there that is like, no, this is not edible. It's like trying to eat a candy with the wrapper on, like, no. Do you remember though with like, was it Cinnaburst gum where back in the day everyone's like, you can actually chew the gum with the wrapper on? Because it was like, everyone did that at my high school.
I've never done that. I have had the rice candy where you can eat the like plastic wrap.
They should make a perfume in an edible perfume bottle. No one is ever going to do that.
Let's skip that.
Yeah, it's so funny because after a point, you get to a point where that's basically just like that like body goo from the adult superstore, where it's like,
ew,
and
what?
Yeah, like the like edible like body oils that are like scented
like
and
body goo?
flavored, and then at some point they'll just put it in a wax bottle, like those like little candies that are the like soda bottles full of like fruit goop. Anyway, boy. I mean, I could just smell this all day. It's a welcome relief from the new Drew Roush t-shirt that I bought, which I haven't had a chance to wash yet, and smells like, it has that new t-shirt smell that's kind of like salad dressing.
What's up with that?
Galen can confirm. I was like, wow, smell this. It smells like...
Once you said that it smells like salad dressing, I was like, I've noticed that with new shirts before.
New shirts.
What's going on? What is that?
Smell like salad dressing.
Fresh out of the factory, and you're like...
They're made at the factory that also produces salad dressing. It's a little known fact.
Right next to Newman's Own.
I think from fumes.
We are derailing again.
Yes, but I just want to sit and keep smelling this as a thing. Like, we're at a point, it's like a psychological defense mechanism where I'm just going to keep jabbering just so I don't have to move on and smell something else. Because this is heaven. It's drying up a little bit as it sits on the skin. That leather is just like hanging out.
Hats off to Beth, and I think that everyone should buy this.
She made a little treat for herself, and it just
And
so
for the
happens
world.
to be available to everyone else for the miraculously low price of $27. So the next one coming up is another one I'm really excited about because I can tell from chatter on the internet that it is a bestseller from the collection. It is The Elephant is Slow to Mate. Now, it's so funny because in a collection of sexy perfumes and etc.
We're bringing in an elephant.
We're bringing in an elephant, and the elephant is, reluctant. And you're like, what is sexy about that? This is based on a poem by D.H. Lawrence. Maybe I should read this one just to make it special. The elephant, the huge old beast, is slow to mate. He finds a female, and they show no haste. They wait for the sympathy in their vast, shy hearts slowly, slowly to rouse as they loiter along the riverbeds.
Producer on the side's like...
And drink and browse. Wouldn't it be great if Julia Roberts had read this at the Oscars?
So I'm going to spend some time here to tell you some things.
And
Let me
dash,
finish.
and dash and panic through the break of forest with the herd, and sleep in massive silence, and wake together without a word. So slowly the great hot elephant hearts grow full of desire, and the great beasts mate in secret at last, hiding their fire. Oldest they are, and the wisest of beasts, so they know at last how to wait for the loneliest of feasts, for the full repast. They do not snatch, they do not tear, their massive blood moves as the moontides near, more near, till they touch in flood. Is that not the horniest poem
About elephants. That you ever done here?
I learned so much. I learned more about this than I feel like I would have learned in like a 55-minute nature documentary about elephants that probably would have only focused on them mating for like 3 minutes at the max. So,
Wow.
I just wanted to read that to kind of get into the description so we know that this is like about something. It's not just perfume notes mashed together. The scent is a rolling, unhurried, volcanic passion sustained by a love that is slow, shy, patient, and wise, and expressed through a scent as warm, languorous, luxuriant, and comforting as a cloak of heavy, soft red velvet. Breath, deep burgundy musk, red labdanum, smoked rose petals, Apopanax, 17-year aged patchouli, blackened vanilla bean, dried black cherries, blackberries, and tobacco absolute. One day I swear there will be like some kind of remix out there of all of just me reading perfume notes, set to like a house beat. Anyway, there's so many notes in here that I'm curious about. It's like I don't even know where to begin. And I could tell a lot of people online excitedly felt the same way. Or maybe they're just pervs who get so turned on by the idea of elephants doing it and like extended descriptions of the act that they were going to buy whatever perfume we stapled onto that poem. But without further ado, ooh.
Whoa.
Wow. I mean, warm, languorous, luxuriant, and comforting. There is like a rich redness right out of the bottle. And that's a combination of the rose, the smoked rose though, and then like the dried black cherries. So this kind of like... Okay, so remember with the wish that we did for Ars Inspiratio that was like an incense of candied smoked fruits?
Yes, because you talk about it in every video.
Burn! This is like another kind of scent like that description. It is an incense of candied smoked fruits. Different fruits, different candy, different incense. Oh, I can't wait to try this on. What's standing out to you here? I can smell the vanilla in the bottle.
God. I mean, it's all like...
I can
smell a lot of this.
Most of it in the bottle.
I'm getting that burgundy musk, and I'm getting the berry, the blackberry and the cherry, and what else we got in there?
I mean, it's like all of the luxurious things of life are in this perfume.
I'm smelling the tobacco. It's interesting. I mean, like, and then each time I smell it, I'm kind of getting something else.
So one of the things, it's like the labdanum and the apopanax, which are like kind of the least edible, kind of more, I don't know, more resinous scents, are kind of like really bold, fresh on the skin. It's like really like thick. It's a thick, heavy scent.
Yes.
And all of these other notes that each have their own character are just kind of like, you know, accents like stitched into this like heavy tapestry. So it really is very enveloping. It's the kind of scent that you can really disappear into. And like, why come back? Why? Since there's no help. Bright red dildo.
Wow. Like really rich and dark and sweet and smoky.
This is definitely somebody's new, like, signature fragrance. And again, it's so funny because it's like, oh, wow, what are you wearing? The elephant is slow to mate, and, like, now you sound like the log lady.
And they're like, I don't know why I ever talked to you, Brenda.
The fruit is, because it's dried, it really keeps it from, I think, just being, like, too screamy, you know? It's not juicy, it's just kind of, like, sticky. It's sticky and heavy and just like red and
it's
luscious.
Very heavy. Not in a bad way. I'm just like, I am moved by the heaviness.
I'm going to layer this with the wish. But I promise not to talk about it.
You are. Right now.
But like beyond that.
Anymore.
I can't believe that. I know. It's a good thing that we are not doing too many perfumes today, because I would really hate to just kind of like
just completely knocked out.
Move on too quickly.
This is a whole experience, really.
Yeah. It's not like super patchouli.
No. I'm not smelling that. That's like one of the things that is not standing out.
There's just so much goop like layered in there that like I think the patchouli is not really sticking out. And you know, it's like a smoky, like dry vapor kind of rising off of it, but it's also not like terribly smoky. It's not super rosy either.
No.
This reminds me of a kind of like a rose confection.
Yeah, because of the vanilla pairing with it, maybe.
I've got it.
The sweet fruit.
Between the rose and the tobacco absolute, what I'm getting from this is shisha. This is like a rose that you would smoke out of a hookah pipe. I don't know if you have that reference,
I've never
like
done that,
the rose shisha out of a hookah pipe, that smell. That's what I'm getting here. Which is funny because I always felt that way about the Knave of Hearts, because the rose in that is a kind of a weird, to me it always has been like a bit of a rose shisha. This is like that rose that I'm chasing in that blend. Shisha. Whole different cartoon show. Okay.
Wow.
Well, we have to
I can picture all of those characters smoking from the hookah, though.
I mean, in
like,
Etheria,
I am Shira. A lot of smoke, and they're like, yeah.
Yes, bitch. All right. We're getting close. Okay, so next up we have the shell box. We had recorded a little standalone video about the shell box, which I may even still air, because when this came out we were so excited to smell it. The shell box was a product of working on our Lupercalia announcement video featuring this actual real shell box that I bought at a thrift store, and then unfortunately we had to punch a hole in so that we could like accomplish cinematic wizardry of having things come tumbling out of it. Mm-hmm. It is a visual metaphor for the experience of opening up the heart to new love.
And new shell box, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, and what's in the shell box, by the way? Oh my goodness. We had Ms. Jade, who follows us on Instagram, sent us incredible chocolate from New Zealand. Again, thank you so much. I stored it in the shell box, so I would remember to mention it. We're working our way through it very slowly. It's really rich and...
Also, but they have coffee in it.
Oh,
so
yes. This is not like...
a daytime treat rather than a nighttime treat.
This is not after dark chocolate.
Otherwise, we're going to be like...
We should have had some before we started filming.
I just touched my perfumey hands to my face.
Also, I heard this morning, apparently there's another love package that someone sent to the lab that is waiting to be picked up. So it is not required that you send us presents. No one is asking for that.
No.
But it does happen sometimes, and we love it.
And whoa.
It's just really special, and thank you so much. But anyway, this shell box. The scent, accompanied by a poem, it says a perfume for distant lovers. So like this is a concept that I handed to Beth, where it was like, here's the box, here's the video we're working on. Can you, would you create a perfume for distant lovers, inspired by like this imagery and object and whatever? And she was like, yes, absolutely. So I hit her at the point in the Lupercalia planning where she is afraid of not having enough and says yes to everything. Very important to know when that moment is. So the scent is shimmering crushed abalonia cord, salt dusted white sandalwood, champaka blossoms, motia attar, which we know is like a jasmine,
Oh yeah.
and a blue lotus. We just smelled blue lotus the other day in the Shungos. You were broken then.
I remember the lotus.
Oh, will you hold up your hands? Because those hands are the ones that are in the shell box label. Here, hold this.
These hands?
Here, I'm going to drop it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Galen, you had your label moment as a model. We've gone from foot stuff to hand stuff in the same collection. So, you can just, that's fine. You can just keep it like that if you want. Ah! My God, you've become...
Do you recognize
a diva.
the hands? This is
a diva.
a diva, as the English
I'm
might
gonna trade.
say.
You can take the lid, and I'll take the box, and we'll just smell this perfume because we're really close to the finish line here. Ah, okay. So right in the bottle, it's like got this like dry, salty kind of lift. It's like really heady. It's like a dry, warm, salty, floral incense.
Right. What I can't remember if I said this in the video that we made about this one
Roll tape.
on its own, but it reminds me of like beach incense.
Yeah.
You got like the salt air, but I'm just smelling like beautiful, luscious incense.
It smells, okay, so it smells very romantic and old-fashioned, like memories of the seaside. Now I sound like Lana Del Rey. But there's...
she would love this.
Yeah, there's a brightness that really, it's like one of those bright days, at the beach. And then the florals are kind of like right there singing. The lotus keeps it from being too like girly floral. And so you've got the motia, champaka, and lotus all just kind of like painting like watercolors. I don't know, it's just gorgeous. The shimmering crushed abalonia cord, I really don't know what that is or how we could have arrived at it, but there really just is almost like mirage waves like coming off of this, and I don't really understand it. What I love about collaborating with Beth on a scent like this is that you just don't know. When someone works in a different medium, you just don't know what they're going to come back with. And I experience this sometimes collaborating with people where I have to make something, and it's fun to surprise people where they're just like, that's not what I would have thought of at all, but I love it. Having this come out of, this, which I bought at the thrift store for like $6, is so special to me. And there's something like really bespoke and charming about like a handmade craft and just like the simplicity of like the object, but then the perfume is like familiar but like surprisingly complex. I don't know. I'm just raving now like a maniac. We're gonna reach a peak where Galen and the audience have bonded together in their like tolerance of me, and I'll get to read all the comments. How fun!
And I'm just like, wow, Galen does not give a fuck anymore. And I'm like,
it's like Jude Law and I Heart Huckabees during the meetings,
right?
Where he's just like reacting the whole time to make the other people look crazy.
Oh my god!
Wow, it's just really special. So, that brings us to the last one that we have. Again, we are out of we must love one another or die. That's the one that we don't have. Maybe if we can get SMUT and that and like the fracas that we're missing from Shungas, we'll do like a little recap video. It's like, here's what we didn't have. But for now, we have The Sun Rising. So there's a poem by John Donne. Great. Not going to read it. Shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. 3 shades of tawny amber.
3 shades of tawny catane. No, just kidding. Tawny amber.
Radiating with orange blossom, Italian yellow, bergamot, saffron, and mandarin. Wowzers.
Whoa.
Reminds me a little bit in concept of the nautical, not nautical Twilight, but the ones that the collection from last spring that was different times of day, because this is based on a sun rising moment situation. I love the color palette in the sense 3 shades of tawny amber. How many does it take?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Wow. This is just not what I was expecting. I mean, in the bottle at least, it's kind of sharp. It's like the orange blossom, bergamot, and saffron kind of create this sharpness that kind of starves the mandarin of like the sweetness you might expect. I was thinking maybe when I got to mandarin,
Starves the mandarin.
I was a little nervous that it was going to be a really juicy orange and that's all I was going to be able to smell. Wasn't in the mood. I can hear the amber rising up underneath. It's just like a really golden.
I love this one.
It's hopeful.
When I bottled it, and then I ended up wearing it, I think, for like 3 days in a row afterwards. I was just like, I can't get enough of this.
There's like a somber quality to it, but it's like kind of optimistic.
Also very sparkly citrus, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something, fun and effervescent about it, and yet weirdly somber. It has like the,
It
know,
has
the sadness
gravity,
and the beauty of a sunrise, I guess. It
Yeah.
really does.
Like when you smell this, you're like, oh wow, it is time to go to sleep. I really pushed it tonight.
The sun's rising.
And then you're trying to go to sleep, and like the school buses are going by to take the kids to school. When I was a graveyard shift waiter, I lived across the street from an elementary school, and it was like I had to get home and be asleep before that moment where the buses started getting there with the kids, because then you're not sleeping for hours.
That sounds like hell.
Well, yes.
Well, it was. Thank you so much.
Thanks for noticing.
You noticed. The hell. I don't want to compete with school buses.
No.
Nah. I don't want to compete with the garbage trucks.
I know, that's a whole different thing.
6 a.m.
What do you think of the perfume? I mean, there's a lot of amber in this, you know. Once like that initial impression goes away, this is very ambery with like a bit of a like you said, like a kind of a sparkle
citrusy spice.
Yeah.
The saffron and bergamot. I don't know. I just really love it. It is.
I would love to smell this on a man.
A wonderfully radiant scent. That could be the part where I say, well, you could smell my arm.
And then we all make a joke about like traditional interpretations of masculinity. I would love to smell it on your arm. Where is it?
Or maybe a different man. No, it's fine. You can smell it on some other guy.
No, really, I want to smell it on. I'm getting a little muddled from everything I've got going on. Where did you put it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't make me crawl.
Look at this.
Where is it? I'll find it. I
can
find it.
Wrong arm.
Is it here?
I don't know. Is it?
And we've turned this into a video where I am hunting your body for a particular scent, like a truffle pig. I mean, it's really beautiful. I found it. It's like a nice kind of like dry orange. It reminds me a little bit of a cocktail, but like the amber, you know, is not really like a boozy situation. So I don't know. It's just
right.
Nice.
There's like a hint of like maybe like an old fashioned in there.
Isn't that strange?
But yet it is not like a boozy scent.
No.
I think it's just maybe the like.
It just smells kind of classy. Again, a word that I hate, but there's something just kind of like a little bit like regal about it.
And just like overall, it has a very tawny mental color palette.
Tawny. Maybe I should change my name to Tawny. Tawny Blunt.
No, absolutely not.
We'll let the crowd decide it.
The crowd says no, and I'm getting that like psychically. Thank you for agreeing with me.
Well,
Very nice.
that's all the time we have for today. As usual, thanks for your patience and in some instances,
Impatience.
incredibly scrumptious coffee-flavored chocolate from New Zealand. And this is it for Lupercalia for now, but we will be returning to pick up the strays, like Jesus. Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Until next time, friends.
Bye-bye.
Finger guns. Bye.
I love it up here.